Good evening and welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily evening television news, broadcasting live and available on demand. Available on all smart televisions, including Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It's time to queer up the news. It's Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we're going to tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
This is the world's first live daily LGBTQ evening news show, literally out of the closet and into the headlines on Queer News Tonight with Al Ferguson.
Hello, everyone. I'm your anchor at Queer News Tonight, Fay What? This evening, we bring you the news of and perspective representing the LGBTQ plus community from South Florida, America, and across our planet.
This is the world's first and only unedited live LGBTQ plus evening news show. Whatever happens, unique in LGBTQ plus news, you will see it and hear it.
Hotspots Magazine Happening Out Television Network is a nonprofit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ plus community. Our mission is to support the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community. We want to inform and educate the key issues of our Black community, Latino, lesbians, and queer women, trans, students, youth, seniors, HIV/AIDS, healthcare, business, social justice, and faith. Help us support our community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ plus media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
Our magazine is celebrating 38 years of the LGBTQ plus experience, and our television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ plus and broader community.
Yes, it does. Let's begin by welcoming anchor Kal Gajraj. Kal is a first-generation Muslim American, an award-winning communications executive and diversity officer. He's a professor and an advisory board member for the University of South Florida's College of Business, and he's a handsome mofo. Welcome, Kal.
Thank you so much, Faye. I'm glad to be here tonight.
I love you. Why are you wearing my purple shadow? Next up, let's welcome anchor Dr. Tai Houser. He's a professor of English and Humanities at Broward College and teaches in the College of Business at Florida Atlantic University. He has served as visiting professor at colleges in Bolivia, Brazil, China, India, and Spain. Tai owns Linden Bridge LLC, an educational experience company. Good evening, Tai. I'm so happy to have you.
Hi, Faye. I always love doing the news with you. It's always a pleasure to be here.
Next up, let's welcome anchor Jonathan Casanas. He's a board member of Forward Miami. He's also one of the producers of Gay Ocho Festival, the largest Latin diversity and inclusion festival in the world. Good evening, Jonathan.
Good evening. I'm just glad Al's not here.
We missed you, Al. Next up, let's welcome Mark Pettitt. Mark is a pioneering traveler and coordinated the very first gay pride parade ever on the continent of Antarctica? You? Oh my God, I think that's one place that Al has not been. Wow. He is also a former Mr. Sawmill Leather, sir. Also, he and his husband Luke, who is another handsome devil, run linksbyluke.com, the chainmail harness and pride accessory shop. I'm wearing one of their bracelets right now because I love them. And by day, he's a leadership coach and trainer with the largest leadership development company in the world. Welcome, Mark.
Thank you, you luscious lesbian. I'm very happy to be here.
I love you, boys. So we are the reporters for Queer News Tonight, and this evening we begin with the queer headlines. The LGBTQ plus community in South Florida and across America is diverse. Our community across the world is vast, and here are the bullet points of the queer news for today, Wednesday, September 6th, 2023. Let's begin by queering up entertainment. Bottoms becomes the new Mean Girls for the queer community.
Could the ugly, untalented gays please report to the principal's office?
Guess that's you guys.
Tonight is our night. We're getting the cooch. I'm gonna talk to Brittany. You could say hi to Isabel.
What would I say? Hey girl, how's your boyfriend? How's his penis?
Mirror, mirror on the wall.
I'm gonna expel you both for committing a crime against Jeff.
Get out of the car.
You can't tell me what to do!
Get out of the freaking car!
We were just practicing for a self-defense club.
So it's like a fight club?
Yes.
Just stay in your lane until you're munching beaver at Wesleyan.
Yes, sir.
What's your plan here?
Jeff is psychotic, and they're picking on the weak and defenseless. So we teach a bunch of girls how to defend themselves. They are grateful to us. Adrenaline is flowing. Next thing you know, Isabel and Brittany are kissing us on the mouth.
You can be our club advisor.
You know, my mom did say I need to pick up a hobby.
Welcome to our fucking fight club.
Let's get it popping in this motherfucker.
I want that trophy.
To have a safe space like this, it means a lot to people. I'm gonna finally reverse stalk my stalker. Yeah! I'll be able to kill my stepdad. Awesome.
It seems so supportive of women, especially the hot ones.
Men need therapy.
Are you cheating on me?
No!
I literally saw you yesterday.
So nerd, I fucked your mom!
We are literally at the bottom. We have nowhere to go but up.
Your club is over.
They deserve a shot at showing everybody how fucking cool they are. Oh. Let's go fuck up some football players.
I want that trophy.
You created a fight club to get some coochie. Y'all ain't know how to work that thing. I know y'all ain't tickling the pearl.
I just don't know if you're supposed to be talking to us like that, just like as a teacher.
Bottoms finally hit movie theaters after premiering at SXSW in March, and the queers are pumped. Set to be the newest generation-defining movie set in a high school, Bottoms is the story of two lesbians who want to hook up with some cheerleaders, of course, before they graduate. So, what do? They start a fight club, naturally. The movie is packed with stars, including Rachel Sennett from Bodies, 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 Ayo Edebiri from The Bear, Kaya Gerber, and Marshawn Lynch. Best of all, the soundtrack was made by none other than Charlie XCX. The film is currently sitting at 95% on the tomato meter and over 90% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes. Bottoms began with a limited release but expanded nationwide in on September 1st, Do you know who else is loving it? Twitter or X, depending if you're still on there. People are going crazy praising the movie. Some have already watched the movie twice and recommend others to do the same. One user has called it the funniest movie of the last 2 decades. After movies like Bros and Knock at the Cabin, which received mixed audiences responses, it is refreshing to see Bottoms getting the love it deserves. Yes, and I agree. Come on, Bottoms need love too, right? Everybody around this table, right?
I think Bottoms get enough love, to be honest.
Yeah! No, I love this, and here's the thing. We wanted Bros to be so successful, but you know what? There was a lot of pressure that came along with that. Like, you felt like you had to go see Bros or you were just not a good gay. Like, this seems like campy and fun, and, I wanted...
And it's lesbians, Faye. You finally get to talk about lesbian
I
shit.
finally get to talk about my own life. Like, that was me. I should have started a fight club. Like, I used to bully the cheerleaders and then sleep with them, right? So I would break them down and then, slide in and feel up their shirts. But, it took some work.
It's happening out is already a fight club with you. I fear that we hype things up so much. On this show, we've hyped up so many queer movies. They didn't do as well as we want. Hopefully, this is a different scenario. Mm-hmm. The trailer is already hilarious. I'm dying to see Marshawn Lynch. He's an ex-football player who now is an actor. All of a sudden, it was actually funny when he was on. So I'm hoping.
Is he the head teacher?
He is the sponsor, the teacher that was sponsoring
the coach.
The coach.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, he seemed like he was doing the role great.
Yeah. And I think a big part of this story too is that it didn't get killed on Rotten Tomatoes before it came out, like Bros did.
Yeah.
I think that they've adjusted, how you go about putting those reviews in before the movie comes out, and I think that's going to really help it have some good momentum and the music in it. You can tell from the preview there is hits in that movie.
Yeah, and there's F-bombs every 2 minutes, and that's what I love in a movie. I mean, let's be queer, that's us, right?
You're speaking Fay What?
When I first heard about the movie, I thought, Bottoms, perfect, I'm in.
Yeah.
And then I realized I couldn't get in. But I love how they played with the title, and they're because Bottoms, of course, is a gay man term, but they're saying, no, this is the girls, and the girls are going to have a romp through the rice cakes, as it were. And at the same time, The boys are hot, and I actually saw a picture today of 2 of the football player boys. They were wearing red shorts that said "bottom" on each cheek.
Oh,
that's funny.
How perfect
Yeah.
is
I know,
that?
right? I
Your
know.
dream picture.
Yes. Yeah. I'm definitely going to go out and see this movie. I think it's super cute, and I hope it gets that spotlight that it deserves. And so far, it is. All right. I mean, even stupid Twitter's talking about it. So, you know. All right, Ty. What's next, my friend?
Next, we're going to queer up education. Miami-Dade School Board debates LGBTQ plus History Month acknowledgement. Acknowledgement. That was the word. The Miami-Dade School Board is considering a proposal this evening for the school district to recognize October as Lesbian, Gay, Bisexual, Transgender, and Queer History Month. But the move is facing opposition from board members who say the recognition could run afoul of the state's Don't Say Gay laws. The board has approved a similar resolution in 2021, but rejected the proposal last year following the passage of the controversial law. In a recent meeting, Vice Chair Danny Espino and members Roberto Alonso, Mary Blanco, and Monica Colucci expressed concern about the legality of the resolution, saying it might violate the parental rights and education law's limits on discussion of sexual and gender identity in the K-12 education system. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis signed the controversial HB 1557 into law on March 28, 2022, and the law took effect on July 1st last year. The law and more recent extensions prohibit the discussion of gender identity and sexual orientation in Florida public schools through graduation in grade 12. Alonso, Blanco, and Colucci also expressed their personal beliefs that discussions of sexual orientation and gender identity are more appropriate at home with family than at school. Queer News Tonight anchor Max Fenning is on location and tweeting through the meeting, monitoring the debate. Okay, first of all, the way these laws work, laws are only important if you enforce them. And you can only enforce them if people challenge them. And in order to get these things challenged in courts and overturned, we need a school board like Miami-Dade to stand up and say, you know what, we're going to do it.
Yeah.
And you know, screw the ramifications for me personally, because really what they're worried about is the governor's going to dismiss them and come in and appoint someone else. But if you can get it working and you can get it in the courts, Hamburger Mary's proved this by getting the trans bills in the court system. If we can get a school board to do this, that would be amazing.
It really would.
I don't think they'll stand up to scrutiny under the justice system.
You know, I got to tell you that I know it's very hard to believe, but I was raised very sheltered. Okay. I had a very sheltered life growing up. My mom was very religious and stuff like that. So everything that I learned about sexuality and things that were supposed to happen with a woman's body, I learned in school, you know, and
but that was under the bleachers. That was
it's totally different time. No, but I'm saying it's the 90s and sex ed was being, was being promoted, was being taught at the school, and it was very important. And I wasn't the only one in that class that learned mostly that I needed to learn from that class, you know, and I come from an area where a lot of teenage pregnancies were prevalent, you know, it was so normal that you had a girlfriend in school, you're 12, 13 years old, and then she would end up pregnant the next year. How horrible is that? And that was because they didn't have proper education as to what birth control works, what, you know, things that they could do, blah, blah, blah. They need to do something about this. Now, I'm super curious you're a teacher, and you're a teacher, Cal, also. Professor, sorry. More degrees, sorry. What do you think about this, Cal?
So I think the narrative of this needs to be corrected because it isn't about sexual identity and gender. It's about actually learning about LGBTQ plus in history. So whether it's, you know, legislators, you know, we have our first openly gay mayor for the city of Fort Lauderdale, you know, Dean Trentalis, you know, one day he's going to be in the history books, you know, so this month is about that. It's just about like how we have Black History Month and we learn about our African-American leaders in this country. This is what this month is supposed to be about. And I think that a lot of parents just get that narrative confused and they just automatically think that it's about sexuality and gender, and it has nothing to do with that. It's about learning about our LGBTQ history and the impact that we've had on this country.
Yeah, but these people don't want their children taught about Stonewall and drag queens who threw the first brick.
But it's important that they are. I wonder if Miami-Dade has access to the last study from the Trevor Project, the 2022 National Survey on LGBTQ plus youth mental health, where they found that 45% of LGBTQ plus youth seriously contemplated suicide over just the last period of 1 year. In addition to that, they found that LGBTQ youth who found their school to be LGBTQ plus affirming reported lower rates of attempted suicide.
For sure.
To me, if you're having a debate on this issue maybe as a parent who doesn't even know the sexuality of your own child yet, it really sounds like you're putting your kid at risk for your own politics. And it turns my stomach.
Well, yeah, that's the thing. They're not like promoting it well. And I don't understand like what this involves, right? Sure. Let's say it passes and now we have LGBTQ History Month. What does that mean for the students? What does that mean for the board? What are you now going to include in the curriculum? And now that there is the Don't Say Gay bill, what is allowed and what is not allowed? So if you're thinking, I'm sending my child to school to learn about sex, then maybe not. Maybe I wouldn't want my kid to go to school and learn about LGBTQ plus history. But if we're showing them that it's just part of the curriculum, a lesson, just as if we would teach about Henry VIII or whatever, then that would be different. But they're not promoting it in a way that allows parents to feel comfortable with sending their kids to school in this way.
Yeah, and parents hear LGBTQ plus, and the first thing they think of is sex. Like, we're so sexualized. There's nothing else past that, you know?
And that's the importance of exercising this law and getting it into the court system. It's about saying, oh, we're not actually teaching your kids about sex. We're teaching them about people who are, as you were saying, Kal, leaders in the community who are part of this massive history of people who are still alive today. How do I want to say that? The kind of people who are still alive today. The gays that are still around.
Yes. Next, let's square up the worldview. Now that homophobic Bolsonaro is gone, anti-LGBTQ plus slurs become punishable by law in Brazil. A historic 9-1 decision by the Brazilian Supreme Federal Court ruled that homophobia is a crime punishable by jail time. Justice Edson Fachin, the lead judge on the case, said that protecting LGBTQ plus Brazilians under the court of law was a constitutional imperative. Brazil is one of the deadliest countries in the world for trans people, with at least 1,741 killed in the last 14 years. Dissenting Judge Cristiano Zanin argued that recognizing homophobic slurs on the same foundation as a crime of racial injury is unnecessary, but he was ultimately overruled by his peers. This decision builds off of a previous decision made in 2019, making crimes driven by homophobia and transphobia similar to racist crimes. The protections also extend to individuals with HIV, pushing discrimination of individuals with HIV for 1 to 4 years in prison. Transgender lawmaker Erica Hilton celebrated the ruling by posting, quote, "victory against LGBT phobia," end quote, on social media. The Brazilian LGBTQ plus community is hopeful that this decision will stop deadly attacks against them and allow them to live authentically and safely. Post-ruling, one social media user expressed the emotion saying, quote, "I live to see such a decision. The movement continues," end quote. Congratulations to all LGBTQ plus Brazilians. This is absolutely incredible, especially for a country that is so dangerous for us, you know, to even exist.
One of the top 10. Yeah.
You know, so for the country to come out and their laws to be able to protect us makes it even better. And it's kind of very, you know, a lot of hope for the future that politicians will come out and be like accepting of their people. Because at the end of the day, they're still Brazilians.
Of course. And let's be honest, Brazilians are hot. They deserve this. I mean, let's be real. They do, you know? I mean, but how crazy is it that they're getting ahead of us when it comes to, you know, when you think of Bolsonaro, when you think about like what Kal said, that, you know, that was a country that we needed to be careful for and stuff like that. And now, you know, now does this mean that also you can't call somebody the F word?
I don't know what it constitutes.
Because I mean, once you boys took that back, I haven't said it in years. And
my
all of
God.
you are Fs.
No, if I say it more and more now, it's actually insane. Yeah, it's really, really bad. But when I think of like Brazil, ever since the Olympics, and I found out about all the crime that they have there, like it's changed my perspective on Brazil. And I think that was probably like the tipping point for them, where they wanted to have a better reputation. And like the news, all that it showed was everything that was bad about Brazil. And now we have Drag Race. Now they're doing this, and it feels so much better. It's way more inviting. Like makes me want to now travel to Brazil when before I did not want to.
Are you saying, Jonathan, that literally Brazil changed their whole entire system because they wanted you to come visit?
Yes.
What a thirsty country.
Have you seen me?
Macho Bear, baby, hitting Brazil.
I'm not sure, though, that this is really the rubber meeting the road yet. In 2019, they, as Kal said, they passed the law against violence, but even just last year, they were still quoted as the LGBTQ plus murder capital of the world. So, back to what Tai said in the beginning, it's great to have a law, but is enforced? Is law enforcement in agreement with that's what's going to happen? Are judges in agreement with that's what's going to happen? So this is an exciting move, but nobody in Brazil should be resting on their laurels on this victory. There's a lot of work to be done.
All right, next, let's queer up sports, shall we?
Sure.
Openly gay Anthony Bowens celebrates historic all-elite wrestling win. Our professional wrestler Anthony Bowens is a champion once again. Bowens, as one half of the tag team group The Acclaimed, beat House of Black at AEW's All In with help from wrestler legend Billy Gunn to win the AEW World's Trios Championships. Max Caster got the pin for The Acclaimed after a flurry of moves that included Gunn hitting Brody King with a Fame Acer. And I like to call it Fame Asser. It just rolls right off the tongue a lot better. Bowens then connected with the arrival, followed by the mic drop from Caster. It was fine TV, let me tell you, and fine entertainment. Made sweeter with Bowens' win. To celebrate the occasion, Bowens hyped the crowd up and assembled the biggest scissor party on earth.
Yeah.
And this all happened at Wembley Stadium. And after the win, Bowens told Gunn, "We told you 2 months ago we were going to bring you back to the top and put the gold you deserve around your waist, and here it is." This match was a rematch from a July episode of Collision when House of Black defeated The Acclaimed and Gunn to retain their titles. If none of that matters to you, just look at the hot men celebrating with a scissor. Yikes. Bowen is married to Michael Pavano, a social media influencer. They've been married since 2017.
One last thing. I know you came here as the badass, but we promised 81,000 people the biggest scissor party on earth. So Wembley, throw those scissors up! Get loud! Welcome to the party! Now, scissor me, Daddy!
Your face.
Woof. I don't know many guys that are down for scissoring, but I'm okay with scissoring them. That's all I have to say about that.
Scissor party at Wembley? Nobody invited me? What the hell? I'm missing out. I need to get I'm on the wrong guest list. Let me tell you. That's the kind of, listen, for lesbians, a scissor party is something completely different, guys.
Is it?
If you don't know, ask your nearest lesbian.
What's a scissor party like?
Okay, give me your 2 fingers.
Yes.
Okay, put it over here in front of me.
Yeah.
Oh.
See how fast I can do that? Speed of light. That's why my wife is a happy cutie. You go, wrestlers.
Oh, my hands were so sweaty.
This, I think, is a bigger victory. I mean, we're having some fun with it, but really, in wrestling, it's not like queer people won and took over because we, absolutely overpowered all the straight people. They chose this victory. Every move, everything is choreographed and decided. And
you just killed children's Santa Not Real moment.
Well, look, hey, call me Miami-Dade school board. I'll finish on that.
Yeah.
Well, I think it's a step in the right direction.
It's a good point, though.
And when you think about wrestling, at least I think about it. I used to love wrestling as a kid, and I thought, it's full of toxic masculinity. That's all it is, So for them to include a gay person, you know, and it just not be a thing. It's not like, everyone, look at the gay wrestler. It's just we're all in this together doing this routine.
But the husband is the social media influencer who's actually out there putting out this information and helping to spread the story. So, you know, it's all kind of coming together in the scissoring world.
I think there are a lot of kids that are going to see that wouldn't be able to see it anywhere else.
That's right.
In their life. Right on.
Scissoring is my cardio. Mark?
Wow, I have to follow that. Okay. Next, let's queer up South Florida and Florida, as if we haven't done that enough. Broward mourns the death of Ken Keechl, the county's first gay mayor. Ken Keechl, a lawyer who was the first openly gay person to serve on Broward County Commission in his last year as mayor, died last Friday of pancreatic cancer. He was 60. Keechl was a Democratic activist and lawyer when he announced his bid for the Broward County Commission. He was elected in 2006 and served until 2010. He was chosen to lead as Broward's mayor in his final year on the county commission from November 2009 through November 2010. His victory was monumental, having beat an incumbent Republican who was once president of the state Senate and who had been appointed to the county commission by Governor Jeb Bush in 2000. As commissioner, Keechl pushed to broaden the county's anti-discrimination laws to include transgendered residents. He also authored resolutions in favor of allowing gays to serve openly in the military and against the state constitutional amendment banning gay marriage. Former County Commissioner Eileen Lieberman said she remembers Keechl as a passionate advocate for the interests of his constituents. He is predeceased by his husband, Ted Adcock, who died in December. Keechl announced their engagement in 2011, then one of the first gay couples in South Florida to announce they were getting married under New York's legislation of same-sex marriage. Oh, what a heartbreaking story, especially with his husband just, departing right before that. And so much empathy when it comes to pancreatic cancer as the way that somebody goes. But I will tell you what, this man has shown you what it means to leave a legacy and to have a legacy that actually has legs on it, that is still inspiring people. I see a lot of that spirit of activism, like in our own Max Fenning. And in just the way that he's willing to go to the highest levels and be right in people's face and ask for what's right in the world. So it's sad, but I really do want to celebrate those changes and the examples that he's led for us.
You know, and at least, I mean, my first thought is that at least Keechl's now with his husband, right? And they're together. They're together. You know, I'm a cancer survivor, and cancer freaking sucks. And this is when I get mad at higher power or the universe or whoever's in charge of expiring us, right? Because there's so many people that are hateful and horrible human beings that are just disgusting human beings. And those are the people you keep around, higher power. But you get rid of someone like this that like we need more of, you know, and it's heartbreaking. My heart goes out to his family. Pancreatic cancer is just one of the worst cancers, if not the worst, to go through for the family, you know, as well. And I just hope that they have good people around them, you know, and we're sending wonderful energies your way and sending you air hugs a todo lo que da. And if you don't know what that means, ask me.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I was just going to say I was young in Broward County when he was mayor, but I remember at the time recognizing the environmental work that he was doing.
Yes, he was big into the environment.
Yeah, it was a huge thing. And one of the things that he said that I think it begs for repeating is, he said, I ran for commission not as a gay man, but as a fiscal conservative and someone concerned about the environment, but I am aware of the historic nature and I am proud of it. And I think that's really important because for people who want to go out and become public figures, it's important to remember that to get elected, you can't just be gay. You've got to have your ducks in a row. You've got to have your agenda. You've got to have the hot button issues that you want to tackle. He said, I want to be a conservative fiscally and I want to take care of the environment, and P.S. I'm gay. Not that being gay is not important, but if you want to get elected, your issues have to stand out above your identity.
Yeah, and I think our community took the biggest L. Like, we don't have enough representation. We don't have enough elected officials in our community. So, I mean, this was hopefully is a reminder to people to get out there, do their part, run for office, be brave, and hopefully you can follow in the footsteps. Yeah.
And this is why LGBTQ plus history is important.
There you go.
And should be taught.
So true. Because
he's paved the way for so many other legislators who have run. I was fortunate enough to know him because I volunteered on his election campaign in the late 2000s. So I was able to meet him and campaign and do like grassroots, putting door knockers, on everyone's door to vote for him for the city commission. And then it was just a really proud moment when he was selected to be mayor in that last year. So yeah, definitely rest in peace.
Rest in peace. Kal?
Next, we are proud of our special partnership with Sunshine Cathedral, the world's largest queer church here in Fort Lauderdale. Supporting that partnership, we are broadcasting from a permanent set here at Sunshine Cathedral at Happening Out Television Studios. We broadcast Sunshine Cathedral's Sunday International Service at 10:30 a.m.
That is today's news for the LGBTQ plus community on the world's first and only daily LGBTQ plus evening news show.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Are you, like most of America, part of our very large television audience watching this LGBTQ plus news broadcast right now on Roku, Apple TV, Android TV, Amazon Fire TV?
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ plus digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines. We need your support. If our community is to grow, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ plus stories in motion and sound. This is the passion of Hotspots magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, Fay What? And on behalf of these LGBTQ plus reporters, the anchors of Queer News Tonight, including Kal Gajraj, Dr. Tai Houser, Jonathan Casanas, and Mark Pettitt. On behalf of all of us here and also Al Ferguson, we will see you daily at 8 p.m. To our LGBTQ plus world, we wish you good night.
We are Queer News Tonight, the world's first and only live daily LGBTQ plus evening news show, brought to you from Happening Out Television Network. We operate in the same model of PBS and NPR, but for the LGBTQ plus community. We educate, inform, and entertain by supporting the 10 pillars of our LGBTQ plus community, with more than 100,000 a week watching us on Roku, Apple Television, and other channels. To keep the story going, we accept donations with 100% transparency. Stay updated and live authentically with Queer News Tonight.